All right, let's continue. So now we are at the stage of going to apply the textures. Or I just did a little bit sculpting at the corners, just a little bit standard brush and dim in standard just to add a little bit wrinkles and nothing fancy. So in order to apply the texturing, we're going to use the polypainting technique. Now, some of you guys might be wondering why not Substance Painter right now, right away. Well, I believe that polypainting have more, the colors and the variations will make it more organic texture over here. You can use the option of Substance Painter, but in polypainting technique you have more digital approach over here, and you have much control. Not only just texturing, but you have much control on your mesh as well. And also we're going to take that texture into the Substance Painter, and we're going to use that texture, and we're going to take these advantages. So let's get started. The way we're going to use it, first of all, I'm going to switch to my paintbrush. So switch to this paintbrush over here, and in order to apply the colors and all these things over here, first we need to bake all the layers. Now before baking all the layers, you want to make sure that you save the file, because it's going to be a big change over here. So that's why we need to take some precautions. So you need to run the checklist first. So bake all the layers, make sure your mesh is ready to go, you added all the details. However, later on you still have the option to add more details if you want it, and we will see that. But right now, just make sure everything is done and you save all the files and you're ready to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the subtools over here, and I'll come to the layers, and this is my layers, and as you can see all are ready to go. And I'm going to stop the recording over here. The layer which I'm not using, I'm just going to delete this one, and there we go. Now I'm going to click on bake all, and it's going to bake all the layers. Now we don't have any layers anymore, and I'm going to run through all this. Maybe let's see, does it have layers? Nope. There we go. All right, and all layers has been done, and I have this one project, and which we don't need it anymore. I'm just going to delete this one, and yeah, we are now looks fine. I do have this part over here that's neat, also the sculpting, which I'm going to do it sculpting on later on. Also these gums areas needs to be refined as well, and the upper gum as well, but that's okay. Let's select the subdivision over here, the main body over here, and I'm going to import some images over here. So I'm just go to the texture, import, and let's import some images. So I added some images over here, and these are some crocodile images. Now you can bring your own images, because generally velociraptor have many different colors and a lot of variation. So I would recommend you to do some little bit research on the reptiles and find some a good pattern that you can apply on it. And you can also use these images, but however I would try to be more creative and find some good patterns, especially in the nature. And This really important that you sometimes you need to go outside and look at the environment, the nature, and how it works, how it camouflage with the environment. So the more observations you have, the more study you have, it's going to really helpful for you. So in this scenario, I'll pick some 4 crocodiles. So I'm going to hit open, and I'll go to the texture, and I'm going to find a good one. I like this one. I like the gray, the way it's coming out, the gray area, it's just coming out nicely. So we'll try with this one, and I'm going to select this image, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this add to spotlight. Once I do, the spotlight's going to appear over here, and you will get this wheel. Now with this wheel you have plenty of things. Most of them I'm not going to explain it because it contains some Boolean operations over here which are not required in this lesson. But these options, yeah, we're going to talk about this. So first is to rotate the image, second is to scale it. We're not going to use pin spotlight or spotlight radius, not right now. The opacity we can change it, and yes, we need to make it keep it all the 100%. And the background opacity, I'm just going to skip this one. Now this will comes a little bit later. Actually, let's do this. I'm going to add one more image, so I'm going to click over here and click on add to spotlight. Now we have 2 images. I'm just going to scale it down, and for this one I'm just going to click over here and just move it over here and scale it up like that. And let's add one more, maybe this one, or maybe this one. I'll use this one. Add to spotlight. There we go. Scale it down, move it aside, move, and just move them over here. Scale them up, scale them up. There we go. Now we have 3 amigos over here, and we can use the proportional, the selected, the unified. So it's going to align them properly. So if I click over here, proportionally it's going to align them. You have the selected as well, or you have the option unified, which is this one. I like this one. It has much, control over here, and you can see all these images into the big images. However, when you are picking up the color from a skin or any texture, try to squeeze the image down so you don't see the details, but you see only the color. So it really generally helps. In fact, you can do one more thing. Just squeeze down your eyes and see how the blurry gets image, and then you only see the color, not the details. So it's the best way to see the colors. So I'm going to select this one and just going to scale it down, and this one as well. We can move it over here to the corners. Let's scale down this as well. There we go. Now you have other operation. If you, for example, you wanted to delete the image, you can just click over here and it's going to be deleted. I'm going to add again, scale it down again. Then you have the option to duplicate, which we don't need it. You have the image to restore. If you had made some changes and you wanted to restore the image, you can do that as well. You also have some cloning options over here, so you can click and do some cloning. You also have some nudge brush where you can do some nudging, but in this scenario I don't think we need this any nudge over here. You can see how I can nudge the image. You also have the smudge, which is the quite same, but I'm just going to click on restore, and there we go. Let's restore the image. You also have some contrast over here. You can do some little bit contrast, the saturation, the hue, intensity, and you just need to light the wheel. When you just light the wheel, it's going to change its value. You have some paintbrush. You can just pick a color and start painting over here as well if you want. And again, you have the rotation and scale. For right now, what we're going to do is again click on the unify and scale it down Just move it aside. There we go. And there we go. Now, we can start the painting right away. If I hit the Z key, I'm in the brush mode and I can start painting, but you will see I'm not able to paint. The problem is we are still in the spotlight brush. And until if I take this image and put it over here and start painting over here, it's going to project this image onto the mesh, which we don't want that. So I'm going to move it aside again, and I'm going to hit the Z key. And in order to paint and also keeping the reference on the side, what you can do is just go to the brush and you need to go to the samples and just turn off spotlight projection. Now I already set this over here, so I can just go back and forth, and I'm going to turn it off. And now if I want to paint something, I can just simply paint over here. But there's one more thing you need to understand, that if you want to pick the color, so notice it's picking only gray. That is because spotlight projection is off, so you need to turn it on again, and you can now just hit Z and pick the color. Or you can do one more thing, you just turn it off, just hit the Z, and also you can pick the color like that. So you can leave it, keep it off as you wish, it's up to you. So we can pick any color from this. Let's try this one. It's kind of bluish. I'm going to click on the unified and let's keep it big a little bit, and then I'm going to small it because it's way too small. I think I'll just keep it this way. There we go. And again, I'm trying to avoid the details but focusing on the color. So I'm going to keep the wheel. So if it's the wheel is annoying, just pick this orange circle and just move it aside, and then you can easily pick the color. It's quite gray. I don't want the gray, I want a little bit different. Most of them are quite gray actually. Looking for not high on value, not low on value, but trying to find the mid-tone. And you can pick your base color, any color that you want, but the base color is important. This looks also fine. So we can apply this base color over here by going to the color and fill object. Once I do that, it's going to fill the color onto the object. Now make sure you are in the RGB mode, so you are applying that base color, and make sure your intensity is 100%. And now this looks fine. I'm going to still keep playing with the colors. A little bit bluish. It's too light. I think I'm going to bring this down. Let's try again. Go to the color. Just going to slightly put it over here. You also have plenty of modifiers over here that you can play with that, but I'm going to keep it that way, simple. Let's try fill object. This also look good. It looks fine. Now we want to turn off the spotlight now, so I can hit Shift Z and it's going to turn off the spotlight. So I have the base color now that I can start, but I'm going to change the material. So I'm going to click over here and I'm going to switch to the skin shade, and this will allow me to see the colors even more better. So we're actually going to use two materials, the skin shade and also the flat color, which allow you to see the color in much better way. So looks good. So we're going to start coloring now in the next lesson. Try to find a good decent amount of a base color and then we're going to begin. So see you in the next class.